But man, talk about bad timing to get really sick. Literally the worst time in my life that I could get sick. And I've done it. So congratulations to me. I hope everyone is well and able to stay home, or at least stay home as much as possible, which is what my family and I have been doing. Unfortunately, I got extremely sick about, I don't know, it's been about 2 weeks ago. It was around the time that this started to ramp up with the coronavirus awareness, at least. My wife was actually the first one to get sick, and she got an upper respiratory infection. And then my son got sick, and then I got sick, but my sickness was lingering and doing things that their sickness was not doing. And I haven't been sick requiring a doctor for over 20 years. I can remember the last time I went to the doctor for a sickness. And like I said, it was over 20 years ago. And I was fighting this, I was fighting the upper respiratory infection. I was coming out of it. But then I got a deep earache, like down in my throat, ear area where all that stuff connects. And I couldn't deal with that. It was 3 days of this horrible earache. It felt like somebody was jamming a screwdriver in my ear every time I swallowed. And it turns out you swallow a lot during the day, so I couldn't deal with it. 3 days of that. And my wife was finally like, dude, you have to go to the hospital, because my throat was really swollen on one side, my earache, I was a mess. It was not a good look. It was not good times. So I finally was like, all right, I'll do it. Now, unfortunately, I believe it was the day before I went, or it was the day of, but it was when the United States declared a national emergency, and so tensions and stress levels are starting to rise. It's very palpable. So this is the day I have to go to urgent care, because I'm obviously not going to be able to get in with my doctor, so I'm going to have to go to urgent care. And it was really stressful. I didn't want to go anyways. So then you add on the national emergency. I believe it was already, a worldwide pandemic. And I just want to stay home. But no, I have to go into a medical place where, there's potentially people with the COVID-19, and it's just crazy. So anyway, we go in there, and I have to fill out the questionnaire that asks if I've been out of the country for 30 days, or if I've had a cough or a fever in the past. I forget how many days it was, but of course I have. So I'm like, yeah. So then I got to put a mask on, and then that just adds to the reality of what's going on, and just the stress level, and the way I feel I'm being perceived by people, and the way I can tell people are reacting to me, because it's a pandemic, so people are on high alert. So I go back into the urgent care room, and I see the nurse, and they do my blood pressure and all that, and she asked me if I normally had high blood pressure, and I was like, no, I normally don't, but I absolutely do not want to be here. And so everything's just piling up. And then the urgent care doctor comes in and checks out my ears. He's like, your ears are fine. And I was like, well, there's a throat component to it too. It's, it's all on one side. And he just takes one look at my throat, and he's like, yeah, we don't do that here. You're going to have to go to the ER. You have a bacterial infection, and it might require them to cut, I think it's my tonsils or whatever. I don't know, whatever's holding the bacteria in there. Sorry, I don't remember exactly everything they said. Like I said, it was just crazy. But anyway, he's like, you're going to have to go to the ER. They're probably going to cut into it and drain it. And I had a list of things I didn't want to hear, and this dude just proceeded to check them off. It's like, I'm looking at my wife like, what is going on? We just thought, hey, we're going to get some medication and, get out of here. So no, now he's telling me I have to go to the ER, and I have to go to the ER now. So luckily my wife had already been told to work from home. So we were able to do all of this, but our son's in school at the time, so we're trying to like take care of this before he gets out of school because they hadn't called off school in Ohio yet. So anyway, I was like, great, now I have to go to a hospital, to an ER where there's just more sick people, more chances, and it's just stress level keeps going up. So go to the ER and everybody's, on high alert in there, and they ask me the same stuff, and everybody checks me out, temperature and blood pressure and all the stuff that they do, and then they get me back into my room in the ER, and eventually the doctor comes in, takes one look at my throat, and she's like, yeah, you definitely have a bacterial infection. She proceeded to tell me the things that, may or may not happen, and she's like, we're going to have to cut into it, drain it out, put you on antibiotics, or you're going to have full-on surgery, and you're going to have to stay here overnight. And then lastly, she said, or you might be able to just get out of here with medication. Nobody I talked to all day sounded like that was even an option. Everybody was acting like this was, a big deal, and that was probably not going to happen. So then she tells me what's going to happen next, and what's going to happen next is we got to get you on an IV, put some anti-inflammatories in the IV, get you on some antibiotics, get your blood work done, and prep you for a CAT scan. Again, list of things I don't want to hear, just checking them off. So I'm freaking out, obviously. I'm like, great, a CAT scan, that's fantastic. But, she explained herself. We can't go cutting into something in your neck not knowing what it is. So you're going to have to do a CAT scan. It makes complete sense. But again, these are things I did not want to do. So, I get the CAT scan, come back, eventually talk to the doctor again. She says, do you want the bad news or the good news first? And I said, give me the bad news first. So the bad news is it is a bacterial infection. It is this thing in my tonsils or whatever. But the good news is you're going to be able to take care of it with medication. You're going to have to do immediate follow-up with your doctor, with an ENT, ear, nose, and throat guy. So I was like, fantastic, that's awesome, let's do that. However, yeah, that's fantastic, but again, it's like, now I gotta go to the pharmacy and fill prescriptions, so I gotta go be out in public even more. And then a couple days after that, I'm gonna have a follow-up with an ENT. And this is all while this pandemic is it's just escalating, and now I have to keep going out into public. So like I said, the day of all of this, I believe it was the day it was a national emergency. So after I left the emergency room, I went to the pharmacy and the grocery store I go to, the Kroger I go to. Never seen the pharmacy line like that. I believe it was that day or the day before. Representatives and stuff were talking about, if you need certain medications, make sure you go out and get it. So the line was just crazy long. So anyway, I did that, got my medication, got a few things in Kroger's that we needed, but just wanted to get in and get out. So, go home, start taking my medication, and then I believe it's the next day people are kind of like freaking out about buying stuff or whatever, and I think this was a Thursday. The next day was a Thursday, so there was the first like mad dash for the toilet paper, and the household is, we're not sick anymore. Well, I'm still sick, but like my wife and my son aren't sick anymore, but our immune systems are down, and everything we're saying is talking about people with compromised immune systems are at risk. And then, my doctor's obviously telling me that I need to relax and, get good nutrition, stay hydrated, stay relaxed, and get some rest or whatever. And all this is going on, and it's hard to do those things, and we have weak immune systems, and then we have to keep going out in public because, I have to go to the pharmacy, or, we have to go get certain things to stock up on to be able to stay at home for a lengthy period of time. And we're like, who's the most compromised? Who should go out and do these things? Am I better off because I'm on antibiotics, or is it just, who knows? There's just these questions that we have. So So I can't remember what we did on Thursday. I think we stayed home. We did. We stayed home on Thursday. We were like, we always have plenty of stuff here. My wife's an avid cook. We live out in the country. We try to stay somewhat prepared. So we didn't feel too stressed, but we were a little stressed about the teepee because it just happened to be one of those times where we didn't have very much. And then all this news is coming out, so we're a little stressed out about that. And we're also trying to figure out how to go in town as little as possible. So we decided if we could consolidate my pharmacy trip, or excuse me, my ENT trip to see the ear, nose, and throat guy on Friday, which is the next day. Let's consolidate that. Going to see him, probably maybe having to go to the pharmacy again, and a grocery trip. So we did where we order our groceries online and pick them up, just hoping, we'd be able to get the stuff that's on that list, knowing we probably weren't going to get some things, toilet paper being one of them. So we did that, and that Friday morning, I knew of a spot. This sounds so ridiculous, but I knew of a spot where I could probably get toilet paper because it's this small health food store that people just don't go there for that kind of stuff, but he has that kind of stuff, like bamboo toilet paper or whatever. And I needed to go there anyways to get some other stuff, so I went in there, and sure enough, he had it. So there it was, way up high on a shelf, just like I imagined. Looked like it'd probably been there for, at least a year. Maybe not, I don't know, but it's just not a popular item in there. But there was 2 12-packs of it, and I grabbed one of them, went and asked him, like, dude, what's up with this? I can't believe this is here. This is a hot commodity right now. And he told me, I'm friends with this guy. He's like, man, I was just at Kroger's. It's fine. They restock. There's plenty of stuff. There's restrictions on how much you can get, but it's all good. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get a price check on this, though, just so I know, and maybe if I have to come back or whatever. So it was fairly expensive compared to regular stuff or whatever, but just, keep it in the back of my mind. So I left there and then went to the ENT appointment, and that was a mess. That place was crowded, and just tensions are up. That's all everybody's talking about. Nobody wants to be in there. And every other person that comes in starts talking about how they were just at Kroger's and the shelves are wiped out of toilet paper and stuff. And I'm just like, man, I just talked to that dude, and he'd probably been there earlier, and like after he left, it just got crazy or something. I don't know, but I was like, great. I left I left the toilet paper at the health food store. I should have grabbed it. And again, it's like, do I want to compromise myself more? Do I want to go back? So anyway, I did the ENT appointment. He looked at my throat. He was like, it's going to be all good. Just keep pumping you with these antibiotics. He gave me another prescription for a few more days. So again, it's like, all right, hopefully I can fill this tonight when we go do this pickup of our groceries, and it'll be all good. So this is Friday, and I leave the doctor's office to go pick up my son, and this is the day, I probably should have mentioned this is the day where they canceled school in Ohio for like the next 3 weeks. And so again, it's just tensions are escalating and stuff. So I gotta go pick up my son and act like everything's, fantastic or whatever. So that was just a whole other deal. And he's obviously worried about me because he's never seen me sick like this. I mean, like I said, I haven't been sick like this in over 20 years, where it requires me getting on medication and seeing doctors. And it's just, of course it would happen now during a worldwide pandemic. But it is what it is, and that's what happened. So I pick him up, and we're scheduled to get our groceries at I think it's like 6 or 7 or whatever. So we go in. The line is crazy for the pickup delivery thing. The outside pharmacy line is really long. And of course, this pharmacy's in my network, but I've never been to this particular one in this Kroger. So I felt like I had to go inside. So I go inside, and it's somewhat crazy in there. Like the toilet paper and that whole aisle is completely wiped out. Every other cart has water in it. Again, tensions are just rising because, the state called off the school and the NBA canceled, and all these things are just, just adding up, adding up. So anyway, I stand in line at the pharmacy and, wait the amount of time you wait at the pharmacy, only to be told that my insurance isn't going to pay for the prescription until the 17th because I just filled a prescription the other day. And I'm like, what? I don't know. The doctor's is the one that prescribed it. I have no idea. He probably didn't know, but I'm like, you mean to tell me I'm going to have to come in town again? I'm going to have to compromise myself again when I'm just trying to stay home. We have the ability and the, I guess, luxury to be able to stay at home, and we can't do it because we have to keep coming in town for these various things. But anyway, again, it's, it is what it is, and you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, very stressful. So I get out of there. I think I grabbed a few more things that we didn't know if we were going to be able to get on the click it list. So I leave there, go out, meet my wife in the car, and of course, we weren't able to get any toilet paper. There's a few other things we couldn't get. I think I can't remember if I went back in and got a few other things. It's just all such a mess. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we just went straight home. I can't remember. Anyway, we went home, and then just the remainder of the night, I proceeded to just beat myself up over not grabbing that bamboo toilet paper at the health food store. It was just like such a rookie mistake. I've just been talking to my friends about, now's not the time to panic, but now's the time to go with your gut. To not be wishy-washy and to just go with your gut. And then I failed to do that. So just freaking out about that, about the whole toilet paper situation. And I was like, all right, tomorrow morning, it's Saturday morning, I'm going to get there when he opens. I'm going to hope that, he has what I need and be able to maybe go get a few other things that we need so we can just stay home for like 2 weeks. And this is before they even called for, trying to stay home for 2 weeks. This is just something, we wanted to do. I mean, I'm trying to stay home for longer than that. So I got there and I couldn't believe it. It was still there. Both packs were still there. And I seriously considered, I was like, do I get both of these 12 packs, or do I maybe think about somebody else coming along that had the same idea I do, or whatever. And as I'm thinking that, I'm holding one of the packs, and this guy comes around the corner and he starts laughing because he sees me holding it, and I'm like, dude, grab it. I was like, grab it. And he grabbed it and he's like, oh man, I'm gonna be a hero when I go home. And I was already coming to the conclusion that I'm not taking both of these 12 packs because I'm not a scumbag. But I mean, the reality is, those are the thoughts you have at times like this. And I was already leaning towards the right decision, and this guy came around the corner, and obviously it's like, yeah, dude, grab it. So I tell the owner that, and he's like, because when that guy was leaving, we were talking about it. I was like, hey man, don't forget me. And he's like, oh yeah, and the owner's like, what's that about? And I told him, he's like, dude, I wouldn't let you take both of them anyways. I was like, man, that wasn't happening. I wasn't doing that. And he was like, I was thinking about taking one of them myself. And this is the guy that told me everything was straight and all good, but things happened. And then after that, there's a Target right down the street. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go in here real quick and just, see what's going on and just get in and out of this place. And as I'm going in, this lady was coming out with like a 12 pack of TP or whatever. I can't believe I'm talking about this. It's just so ridiculous. But I mean, I guess that's the reality right now. And I got super lucky. I don't know, but Target they had stocked up like down the aisleway with like, toilet paper and water and stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to get one of these, I'm not going to be a psycho about it. So I got, one more additional thing of TP. I mean, we're a house of 3 and I'm on antibiotics. And so, use your imagination with that. But anyway, so I got one of those. I got some water. Of course, I had to get some chips because, of course you need chips. So got all my goods, got out of there, got home, and, was able to stay home for a couple more days. But again, it's like I had to go pick up this other prescription, and that was yesterday, and I think that was the day they were like, we need to do this 15-day lockdown or whatever. So it was like, all right, one more time, I got to go out and do this, and it was just, I did not want to be out there at all. But there was other things I wanted to get, because like I said, I'm trying to stay home longer than 2 weeks. There was this green, like a greens antioxidant blend, the super whole food thing that I want to get to help rebuild my microbiome after all this, these antibiotics and stuff I'm having to do. I want to build my immune system as much as I can, and like fresh fruits and vegetables. It's not going to be a reality very much lately, especially if I'm trying to stay home, because fresh fruits and vegetables, they don't last that long. So I was just trying to think of things like that I could add to smoothies or whatever to help build my immune system, get the prebiotics going, get the probiotics going again in my system. So I got some of that. Just got some other staples and stuff. My son really needed crayons for doing these homeschooling stuff we have to do right now. But anyway, I was able to get all that stuff, get home, and now finally home, and just able to stay home until, my wife's going to have to go back to work at some point to at least do certain things. But, she's able to work from home a lot, so that's very helpful with the stress levels. But man, it's just been so crazy having a compromised immune system right now. It wears on you, because that's all you're hearing is, don't have a compromised immune system, work on your immunity. And it's like I'm sitting here down in antibiotics and getting over a viral infection, upper respiratory infection, a bacterial infection. It's just not the things that you want to hear. But I'm also grateful that, most of the time I take good care of myself. I'm active, I eat well, I meditate, I read, I do things to just try to keep my health and wellness tip top or whatever. So I'm grateful I do that. But man, talk about bad timing to get really sick. Literally the worst time in my life that I could get sick. And I've done it. So congratulations to me. Well, I just really wanted to share that story. Hope you found it interesting, or maybe some of it was entertaining. I don't know. I just really needed to talk. So thanks for listening. I hope you guys are well. Take care of yourselves. Stay occupied. Try not to go anywhere. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't go anywhere. What was Trevor Noah the other day? It was so funny. He said, just stay on your phones and watch a lot of TV. This is literally the only time in history you're going to get that advice. So I think that's pretty solid advice. You guys take care. You have the best day possible.